You're all set to begin.
All right, great, thank you. Good morning, I'm Mark Ellis, Barnstable Town Manager. And today we're holding our calendar year um, fee hearing on proposed fees for calendar year 2025. Um, so this is the public hearing on changes to various Town of Barnstable permit and program fees for the Community Services Department, Golf, and Hyannis Youth and Community Center, Marine and Environmental Affairs Department, Marina, Sandy Neck Beach and recreational shell fishing programs, and the Planning and Development Department's parking management program. These calendar year fees would all take effect on January 1st, 2025, being November 12th, 2024 at 11 a.m. We have commenced this hearing. The hearing can be viewed on Barnstable's Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072, as well as Zoom. Those wishing to provide public comment may do so by accessing the meeting via the Zoom link or the telephone number that's in the public hearing notice. So at this time, I will commence the public hearing on proposed fee changes for calendar year 2025. Just so I don't have to repeat it each time, I will do the presentation of the fees. I will ask the Director of Finance, Mark Milne, if he has any comments on those fees. I will ask the director or their designee of the department in which the fees are proposed to provide a brief justification. I'll take any public comment. Following that, I will take the fees under advisement for 30 days. At the end of that period of time, I will either approve the fees as proposed, approve fees for a lesser amount than proposed, or take no action, and therefore the current fees will remain in effect. And then we will publish that we have done that. But I always take it under advisement for 30 days to allow for the public to be able to communicate with me relative, and you can do it any way you wish. You can send me a letter, you can send me an email, you can, call, but make sure if you call that we get all the pertinent information so that we can log in any comments relevant to our review of these proposed fees. Okay. At this time, I will commence with the Community Services Department. The proposed fees for our Community Services Department under our Golf Enterprise Division are proposed as follows. Under annual passes, residential annual pass, current fee is $1,235. It is proposed to go to $1,335. Residential family pass is currently $2,100. It is proposed to be eliminated. Residential additional household member is currently $0. It would be $995. Residential super senior 80 plus pass is currently $618. It would go to $668. Non-residential annual pass is currently $1,795. It would go to $1,940. Non-resident family pass is currently $2,850. It would be eliminated. Non-resident additional household member is currently $0. It would go to $1,335. Non-resident super senior 80+ pass is currently $1,235. It would go to $1,335. Non-resident Hyannis only is currently $995. It would go to $1,095. Young adult 18 to 26 is currently $695. It would go to $750. Student 18 to 22, currently $300, would go to $325. Junior, age 7 to 17, currently $150, would go to $180. Driving range annual passes, residential single, currently $255, would go to $300. Residential additional household member is currently $195, it would go to $225. Non-resident single, currently $295, would go to $365. Annual pass holder cart fees, currently 18 holes, $16.94 would go up to $18.82. 9 hole, $9.41 would go to $11.29. Handicap, 18 hole, you must have a placard. Currently $14.21 would go to $15.06. Handicap 9 holes, must have a placard. $8.47 would go to $9.41. Ages 75 plus 18 holes, currently $14.12 would go to $15.06, and 75 plus for 9 holes would currently $8.47 would go to $9.41. Non-resident greens fees at Old Barnstable Fairgrounds, May 16th through September 1st, currently $77 would go to $80. May 16th through September 1st, after 1 p.m., Sunday through Thursday, currently $52 would go to $55. September 2nd through October 12th, Monday through Thursday, it's $52, it would go to $55. September 2nd through October 12th, Friday through Sunday, $77 would go to $80. Miscellaneous fees, both courses. Public card fees, 18 hole before taxes, $21.65 would go to $23.53. Public card fees for 9 holes were currently $12.24 would go to $14.12. Rain buckets large, currently 9 would go to $10. Range buckets small, currently 5 would go to $6. And rental clubs for 9 holes, 14 would go to $18.82. So I'll stop there, even though we have more community services department fees proposed, but these are associated with the golf course. So at this time, I would ask if Mark Milne has any comments relevant to these golf course proposed fees.
Thank you, Town Manager Ells. I guess my only comment at this time would be that the anticipated additional revenue generated by these proposed fee increases would replace essentially the reserves that we're currently using to maintain the operating budget for the Golf Enterprise Fund. We used about $220,000 in fiscal year 25 to balance the operating budgets. So if based on level activity out at the golf courses, these fee increases would allow us to generate additional revenue to replace those reserves that we're using currently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll ask the Director Ganella or his designee give a brief justification, and I'd ask you to begin with whether the Golf Committee supported these proposed fees. Thank you.
Thank you, Town Manager Ellis and Director Milne. I defer to Director of Golf Course Operations, Jesse Scheckman, for the rationale and explanation.
Thank you. Yes, I'd start by saying these fees were approved in a vote by the Golf Committee
at last month's meeting. As far as a rationale, the current golf division budget represents about a 5.5% increase over last year's. Aside from personnel budgets increasing due to contractual obligations, we continue to see increased costs associated with the environmentally sensitive land management plan. Organic fertilizer, grass seed, wetting agents, and the organic treatments that we use continue to rise. Additionally, the cost of utilities, replacement equipment, and materials associated with our operations continue to increase. Golf has experienced a 12% increase in expenses since the last time fees were adjusted. I should note, we did not increase fees for the current calendar year over last year. For the 2025 season, we're requesting these increases and proposing a restructure of the annual passes to do away with the quote family designation and replace it with additional household member. So this would allow all golfers living at the same address to purchase their own pass, albeit still at a substantial discount. It'll give us more accurate pass information, and also it'll help alleviate some issues related to, which is happening more and more now, multiple generations living under the same roof who currently may qualify for a family pass. These proposed increases will help offset these higher costs. We anticipate these new rates will yield approximately a little over $200,000 in revenue. To Finance Director Mills' point, we were trying to get to a point where we could maybe get away from borrowing from reserves to balance the budget. Who knows if that will happen? And lastly, I would note that these rates are all very much in line with our municipal neighbors who also run golf operations on Cape.
Thank you, Mr. Scheckman. I appreciate that overview. Director Ganella, any further comment, or can I go to any public comment then?
I'm good, Mr. Ells.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Okay, at this time, relevant to golf enterprise fund fees, do I have any member of the public who would like to comment?
Mr. Lawton, would you like to comment on these fees?
Not on the golf fees. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lacasse, I understand you're here for the fees for Marine and Environmental Affairs. Is that correct? It must be.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then, seeing that I have no public comment on the Golf Enterprise Fund's proposed fees, I will move on within the Community Services Department to our Hyannis Youth and Community Center proposed fee changes. The proposed fee changes for calendar year 2025 are as follows. 1 hour ice fee during school hours, currently $225, $250, and $275 will be $200, a reduction. Half sheet of 1 hour ice fee from June to August. There is no fee currently at this time, and they are proposing a fee of $175. That concludes the proposed fee changes. Director Milne, do you have any comments on these proposed fees?
I have no comment on these proposed fees at this time.
Thank you. Director Ganella, or your designee, can you please give us an overview of these proposed fees?
Absolutely. Thank you, Manager Ells. These requests have been the Director of Community Services now for 2 years, and looking at trying to invoke and attract new clientele during hours where it's difficult, where most schools and children are in session. So we have been working, the first request would be to create the additional fee, which reduces the cost of ice from that matrix and provide a new fee to the $200 per hour fee. Figure skaters, some private organizations, local firefighters trying to get an organization together to do a skate. It just gives them an opportunity to attract them and solidify it without bringing in additional staff. We also, look at trying to be more effective with our management of staff. Where some of these, we have a private organization, we don't have to have seasonal staff or support staff come in for 3 or 4 hours for a 1-hour ice rental. The second request is a half sheet of ice that we're trying to implement for the summertime, June, July, and August. In talking with a lot of user groups that we currently have and other organizations, and it provides a fee that they can start a business and they can grow into a full ice user group. A lot of rinks off Cape utilize this. We have also had difficulties with maintaining quality of ice on the Kennedy side during these summer months. And this would allow half of a sheet of ice to be worked on and maintained while we're still creating revenue on the other half sheet of ice. And that's my rationale for today.
Okay, well, thank you. And does this go before Rec Commission?
Yes, it went before the Rec Commission and was approved.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So do I have any members of the public who would like to comment relevant to the Hyannis Youth and Community Center proposed fee changes?
Mr. Lawton, do you have any comments on this item?
No, thank you. Probably the next one, the marina fees.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no public comment at this time, I will take these proposed fees for the Community Services Department under advisement. I hope that those who are viewing, if they wish to communicate with us, do so. I'll take this under advisement for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, I will either approve the fees as proposed, approved a reduced amount of the fee, or I will take no action and therefore the current fees will stand. Thank you all for your participation from Community Services Department. Now I'll move on to the next department, Marine and Environmental Affairs Department. We are looking at at this point, we're looking at, the Marina Enterprise Fund, Sandy Neck Beach Enterprise Fund, and recreational shellfishing fees. We'll begin with Marina Enterprise Fund. The proposed fee changes in our Marina Enterprise Fund of our Marine and Environmental Affairs Department are as follows. Bismarck residential 30-foot minimum, currently 187, moving to 190. Bismarck non-resident 30-foot minimum, currently 213.75, moving to 220. Barnstable residential slip 1 through 34, 27-foot. Minimum fee is 171, going up to 175. Barnstable non-resident slip, 1 through 34, 27-foot minimum. Currently 196.75, going to 205. Barnstable residential slip 35 to 53, 21-foot minimum. Currently $2,607, going up to $135 per foot. Barnstable non-resident slip 35 to 53, 21-foot minimum. Currently $2,999, going to $165 per foot. Barnstable residential slip 54 through 70, 16-foot minimum, currently $1,673, going to $110 per foot. Barnstable non-resident slip 54 through 70, 16-foot minimum, currently $1,924, going to $140 per foot. Barnstable resident small craft, currently $782, going to $900. Barnstable non-resident small craft, currently $900, going to $1,100. Gateway resident 21-foot minimum, currently $2,607, going to $135 a foot. Gateway non-resident 21-foot minimum, currently $2,999 going to $160 a foot. Prince Cove, resident 20-foot, minimum 5 slips, currently $177.25 going to $180, and Prince Cove non-resident 20-foot minimum 5 slips, currently $207 going to $210. In season May 1st to October 30th, recreational foot per day, currently $3 going to $325. Off season November 1st to April 30th, recreational foot per month going from 175 to 9 up to $9. Off season November 1st to April 30th, commercial foot per month $9.75/$8 going to $8. Electrical usage fees, 50 amp daily, currently $10 going to $15. In season May 1st, October 31st, 30 amps, currently $500 going to $600. Off season November 1st through April 30th, 30 amps going from $500 to $650. In season May 1st through October 31st, 50 amps going from $725 to $825. Off season November 1st through April 30th, 50 amps going from $725 to $875. And finally, offload fee, offload per use, $35 going to $40. Offload calendar year going from $650 to $700. That concludes the proposed that concludes the proposed Marine Enterprise Fund proposed fee changes. So at this time, I'll ask if Director Milne has any comments.
I have no comments at this time, but I may have some questions after the justification is provided.
Thank you. Director Lawson, or your designee, I would ask you to provide a summary of proposed changes.
Yes, good morning, Manager Ells. With the rationale, Harbor Master Brian Taylor.
Good morning, Brian Taylor, Harbor Master, Town of Barnstable. Due to the increase in cost of services and potential upcoming capital improvement projects, a fee increase of various fees are being proposed to help offset costs. Also, we believe the current fee structure for slip contracts at Barnstable Harbor Marina leads to significant disparities in charges for slip holders. To address this, we will use a phased approach to modify the fee structure, shifting the flat rate fee structure to a per foot charge, which should help create more consistency in slip contract costs. The Waterways Committee has endorsed this initial first phase of the fee adjustments, which is being proposed. Please note, we discussed this matter with the Waterways Committee for over 2 years, and we held multiple workshop and meetings in which we invited slip holders to attend. We did this by sending letters in the mail and also sent emails regarding the fee discussion. We've taken slip holders' feedback and the Waterways Committee comments and arrived at this fee proposal. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Harbor Master Taylor. I will go back to Mark Milne. Mark, do you have any questions at this time?
Yes, thank you, Town Manager Ells, and thank you, Harbor Master Taylor. What is the anticipated increase in revenue from this proposal on a yearly basis?
Approximately $30,000, although it really depends on the size vessel that's in the slip, so it could range from $30,000 to $50,000.
And you said this was a multiple year phased approach. How many years are we looking to implement this change over?
Right now, we're looking about 3 years. But it really depends on the cost of capital improvement projects.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Town Manager.
Okay, thank you. And a quick question: the committee that reviewed Brian, are they privy to this phased approach? And in concept, though obviously the hard numbers aren't in front of them as a proposed at this point. Are they supportive of this phased approach in concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that has been publicly discussed at those meetings and workshops.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, I will open it up to any public comment.
Mr. Lawton?
Thank you. I do have a quick comment. I clearly understand the need to increase fees, especially on an enterprise fund. The concern, where in the category of non-resident, so 54 to 70, when we do the calculation, our rate is going up by about 31%. Hopeful that that isn't going to be 31% each of the three years, which would, I think, more than double the fee that we would pay as non-residents. So understand the need, and certainly don't necessarily object to going from a flat rate to a per foot, because that is more equitable. I think there's no question. I do appreciate the hearings that were held. They were very informative, and there was good opportunity for everyone to participate in that. So we'll be sending a letter just emphasizing some of these points, but I think our general concern is just 31% seems to be high, but if that's what it is, hopeful it won't be 31% each of the 3 years to get to your maximum. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lawton. We appreciate you participating, and I look forward to both this comment and whatever you send us to take it under consideration. Based on that, Brian, and I'm not looking for the public and you to get in a dialogue, but relevant to that question, is there any clarification on this phased concept? Do you expect a proportional sort of increase, or how are you envisioning this over the next, it sounds like next 3 years?
So thank you, Mr. Els. So through the various workshops we held in meetings, we came to a determination that the public, being the slip holders that are currently in existence at Barnstable Harbor, like to have different fee structures for different portions of the marina. We are going to adhere to that. I think this first fee adjustment fixes the flat fee structure to a per fee structure. I don't envision a 31% increase, but that really depends on what size vessel you have. So right now, we're implementing a 16-foot minimum in the smaller craft section that this individual is commenting on. But I think this first year is kind of the big change, going from a flat fee to a per foot fee. So I don't envision a 31% increase, although it really depends on what size vessel you have.
All right, thank you. And, certainly as I get comments on any proposed fees, I forward them to the director of the respective department, and they provide me feedback. I also review it with our finance director to make sure that we are comfortable in the justification for those fee increases. Okay. Continuing with Marine and Environmental Affairs, I will move on to the Sandy Neck Beach Enterprise Fund proposed fee changes. On the annual ORV permit resident, it's $95 going to $100, ORV being off-road vehicle. Annual ORV permit, non-resident, currently $220 going to $250. Annual ORV permit for cottage owner, currently $45 going to $50. Annual ORV permit trailer, currently $40 going to $45. Fall ORV permit for a resident going from $50 to $60. Fall ORV permit non-resident, currently $100 going to $120. Fall ORV permit cottage owner, currently $15 going to $20. Winter ORV permit resident, currently $20 going to $25. winter ORV permit, non-resident, going from $40 to $50. Overnight camping, resident slide on $11 going to $12. Overnight camping, non-resident slide on $22 going to $24. Overnight camping resident RV, currently $15 going to $16. Overnight camping non-resident RV, currently $30 going to $32. Overnight camping Chase, currently $6 going to $7. Tent camping per site, currently $20 going to $30. And horse permit per ride, currently $20 going to $25. That concludes the proposed Sandy Neck Beach Enterprise Fund proposed fee changes. At this time, I'll ask Director Milne if he has any comments.
Thank you, Town Manager Els. My only comment at this time is that the additional revenue generated by this proposal will help address the recent coastal resiliency project out there that was recently approved by the town council. The enterprise fund does have a significant contribution towards that project, and these fee adjustments should help achieve some financial stability out there and allow the enterprise fund to contribute its share of the cost of that project, net of any grant revenue that we receive. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Director Milne?
Yes.
The recent approval of a capital project relevant to Sandy Neck parking lot relocation and other capital improvements discussed a phased fee increase to be able to offset a portion of the costs associated with those capitals. In what you've seen, is this reflective of what we anticipated relevant to that additional fee generation?
Yes, it is. And, but the only caveat is activity levels and where they might go in the future. But if they remain as they currently are and continue to with slight increases like they have been trending, this is in line with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. At this time, I'll ask Director Lawson or his designee to provide a summary of these proposed fee increases.
Yes, thank you, Manager Els. To give the rationale, Natural Resource Director and Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager, Nina Coleman.
Good morning, Nina Coleman. After reviewing our ORV permit costs for other Cape Cod towns, it was determined that we are undercharging for non-resident permits. In comparison, Duxbury charges $350 for a non-resident permit, and Nauset Beach charges $386 for the same permit. At present, our non-resident permit fee is $220, and we are proposing to go to $250. A recreational ORV usership breakdown is as follows. 93% is day trippers and 7% is campers. Contrast this with campers receiving more services and such as air, reservations, trash, staff time, stuck campers on the ORV trail, and time allocated to issues related to this user group. Further, campers can reserve beach time for up to 4 days, consecutive days, and they receive a very large area of the beach as compared to a day tripper. This is particularly evident when the space is limited. With regard to overnight tent camping, Sandy Neck strives to provide passive recreational opportunities, such as a remote hike-in only campground. However, staff must provide considerable support to this user group in the form of patrols and transporting wood and water. The increased fee is intended to offset these costs. The ORV permit and camper fee increases will cover Sandy Neck Beach Park operation expenses and future capital improvement projects. Costs have increased in the following categories: staffing, sanitation equipment, rubbish removal, and police details. ORV permit fees have not increased since 2023.
Ms. Coleman, did the Sandy Neck Board review and support these proposed fee changes?
Yes, sir. They reviewed it during two meetings, the August and September meeting, and they were voted unanimously to be supported.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I will ask if there's any member of the public who would like to comment on these proposed fee changes.
Mr. Lawton, do you have any comments on this item?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you then. I will take these under advisement. Now I'll move on, still within Marine and Environmental Affairs, to recreational shellfish. And the proposed residential recreational shellfish permit is currently $40. It'll move to $45. Veteran shellfish permit currently 40, will proposed at 45. Non-resident recreational shellfish permit currently $140, moving to $170, and non-residential seasonal shellfish permit currently $70, moving to $80. That is the extent of what's being proposed in our recreational shellfish fee changes. Director Milne, do you have any comments on these proposed fee changes?
Thank you, Town Manager Ellis. My only comment is that this money goes into a revolving fund, a shellfish revolving fund that we have, and we have brought on additional staff recently to help our successful shellfish propagation programs. And so these increases will help offset those costs. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Lawson, can you please provide a summary, or your designee provide a summary?
Yes, thank you, Manager Ellis. Again, Natural Resource Director, Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager, Nina Coleman with a rationale.
Thank you again. And Manager Ells, one correction for my last discussion. The Sandy Neck Board endorsed the fees in October, whereas the Shellfish Committee endorsed the fees that I'm about to summarize in September.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So after reviewing shellfish permit costs for other Massachusetts towns, it was determined that we are undercharging for non-resident permits. And I'd like to say our non-resident folks that are coming and enjoying our shell fisheries in town here has continued to increase over the last 5 years since COVID. In comparison, Wellfleet charges $220 for a non-resident permit, and they're propagating far less quahogs than we do here in the town of Barnstable. Further, our non-resident permit sales have been steadily rising in the last 5 years, as I just mentioned, so we believe that the rate increase will not affect sales. Increases in revenue will cost staffing needs and an industry-wide 15% increase in the cost of shell stock.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you already stated the Shellfish Committee supports this, so at this time, I will ask if there is any public comment relevant to these proposed fee changes.
Mr. Lawton, do you have any comments on this item?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. And once again, that concludes the proposed fee changes in our Marine and Environmental Affairs Department. I'll take this under advisement. As I've said earlier, I take this under advisement for 30 days. I encourage everybody who wasn't able to attend the meeting but who can view this to submit comments over the next 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, I will either approve as proposed, I will approve for a lesser amount, or I will not take action, and therefore the current fees will remain in place. Okay, thank you all. Moving on to our Planning and Development Department under the Parking Management Division. There are proposed fee changes, and they are as follows. Under violations, handicap violations currently 100 will move to 200. Fire lane violation currently 100 will move to 200. Fire hydrant violation, currently 100 will move to 200. Overtime, currently 40 will move to $50. Meter, currently 40 will move to $50. Other violations, currently 40 will move to $50. Under parking pay stations, from May 1st to October 14th, currently $2 per hour for each of the first 2 hours, and then $3 per hour thereafter. 6-hour daily maximum will move to $3 per hour, 6-hour daily maximum. And then finally, parking permit fees for Sturgis student parking permits. Change students from Ocean Street to North Street parking lot. Currently, there is no fee, no change, $50. Ocean Street lot resident parking permit annually, currently $75, going to $100. Ocean Street lot parking permit annually, currently $75, going to $100. South Street lot resident parking permit annually, currently $75, going to $100. North Street lot parking permit annually, currently $0, going to $100. I will ask, our planning director as designee to clarify, because I may have read incorrectly, not the number, but the proposed fee change relevant to Sturgis students. So, but at this point, I'll ask Director Milne. That concludes the proposed parking fee changes. I'll ask Director Milne if he has any comments on these. I think you went silent again, Director Milne.
There we go. Thank you. Just one comment. I think under the violations portion of this proposal, first, I'd like to thank Mr. Bertling for his comprehensive submission. It was well thought out. And one of the comments in there I just wanted to emphasize is that the violation part of this program, these proposed fee increases aren't necessarily a revenue generating proposal, but it's important to enforce to encourage compliance. And so that's an important part of these programs. And that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I will ask Director Kupfer or his designee to provide a summary for justification of these proposed fee changes.
Thank you, Manager Els, Director of Planning and Development, Jim Kupfer, joined by Peter Berling, Parking Program Manager. And thank you to Director Milne. Well said. It's above and beyond just revenue generation, but proper management of parking. The town's previously completed the Hyannis parking study, which indicated that the town should review the parking management program fees, fines, and permits to better manage parking behavior and also reflect the rising costs of operations to promote compliance with parking regulations. Mr. Bertling completed a comprehensive review of the rates in the general area, comparable communities, and trends in the industry, and has presented the recommended increases you see today. Mr. Bertling is present for further justification. Peter?
Thank you. Peter Bertling, Parking Program Manager, Town of Barnstable. First, I will start with the increase in the violations. As Director Milne pointed out, it's not about the revenue generation, it's more about compliance. One thing I have learned in taking on this role is I'd kind of like to maybe eventually rename it parking compliance instead of parking enforcement, because it really is about that. And in increasing fees, higher fees, studies have shown do discourage parking violations, which in our busy, congested downtown area will relieve some of that congestion and improve traffic flow, especially as we look toward converting Main Street to a two-way situation. And in looking at as Director Kupfer pointed out, regional standards, towns like Yarmouth and Falmouth are charging more for some of these violations. So I'm just trying to regionalize that so it's more equitable and fair and effective on the citizens and visitors of the Cape. So also with that, that's why the nominal increase from $40 to $50. Numbers that I have show that the handicap violations and the fire lane violations, they haven't gotten any better in the past few years. We have several key areas where people just disregard fire lanes. It is a fine up to $300 in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm looking to increase from 100 to 200 to help deter some of that. As for the handicap violations, I pointed out in my justification, or in my memo, under Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 22G, the town's disability commission currently gets 50% of the revenue generated from our handicap parking tickets. So for every $100 we collect, they get 50 of it to go towards their accessibility initiatives, such as beach accessibility Moby mats, and I know they're looking at making some further purchases. I'd like to enhance that by increasing our fines on the handicap violations. There is no limit to how much we can give the Disability Commission. I feel like they do a great effort and some great improvements throughout the town on behalf of the disabled members of our community. And I'm looking to enhance that with that. Moving on to our pay station increases. We currently charge $3 per hour beyond the 2-hour minimum, or I shouldn't say minimum. First 2 hours are $2 per hour. After that, it's $3. Just trying to, again, don't want to increase the revenue, but offset our costs. The wages paid by the town to our parking resource officers and Bismore greeters has increased 25% over the past several years. And we have increased vehicle costs, including leases and fuel, and our aging pay stations in our parking lots. They're 10 years old. They're starting to require frequent maintenance, which unfortunately I can't take care of all of them all the time. I do have to have a company come from Connecticut. They charge by the hour from the time they leave until they return for their vehicle usage and their technician. And some of our parts have, they're about 25, the processors on those units, we've replaced 2 in the past 2 years to the tune of $2,500 for the mechanical component, not the labor alone. So we're increasing, I'm looking to offset the costs for maintaining our operations there, including last year we contracted a vendor to come in and mark the Ocean Street parking lot for us because DPW was extremely busy and shorthanded. So we paid for that out of our budget. So we're looking to offset some of that. And then finally, Manager Ells, I know you had a question about the Sturgis parking permits. Can I address something with that for you, or?
Only that I think I may have read it incorrectly the way I read it. It's not an increase. It's no. Okay.
No, there is no increase there. Previously, I don't know if it was you or if it was Manager Klim at the time had given permission to Sturgis Charter High School East Campus to utilize our South Street lot and our Ocean Street parking lots for students. We sell them 80 permits a year at $50 a piece. They divided up 40 and 40 in between the 2 lots. However, early last year, we were having some issues with some of our unhoused population accosting the females as they were walking from the Ocean Street lot over to the Sturgis High School. So I made the determination with then Director Jenkins to allow them to park in the North Street lot where we have not previously been quote unquote permitted for a fee. I'm looking to just make that a permanent thing for those students to be able to park over there with a fee. Additionally, we don't charge business owners on Main Street for permitting in the North Street lot. However, the planning board back in April with the project at 78 North Street recommended that we allow up to, I believe, or a minimum of 11 spaces in the North Street lot for residential parking, which we've never allowed in the North Street lot previously. So that is why I'm looking to permit that as well. So the first part of that is to change from Ocean Street to North Street for the Sturgis students. And then the second part of it is to charge a fee in the North Street lot for parking, residential parking for 78 North Street. And then the additional, we're just with the increasing fee costs on everything from wages to maintenance to vehicle costs, we're just trying to offset, which is why we're asking for the 25 or the 33% increase from $75 to $100 on the permits every year.
Okay, thank you. I'll now move to public comment. Is there anybody from the public who would wish to comment on these proposed fee increases?
Mr. Lawton, do you have any questions on these items?
Just a quick comment on the handicapped fees. Fully supportive of that increase. I know in Barnstable Harbor, there's a handicapped spot near where my wife's slip is. And a lot of times we find that people go into the whale watch, will park there. So I'm glad the fee is going to be increased, and hopefully there's good enforcement of that, just to get the message that they're handicap spots. And the handicap spot, I think, is for slip holders in Barnstable Harbor, if they have a handicapped issue or a placard, not for the whale watch parking. It's a difficult thing. Clearly understand you can't have someone there all the time, but I think the increase may discourage some people from illegally parking. So thank you for the time.
Thank you for your comments. Any other? Seeing none. Okay, at this time, as earlier described, I will take these fees for our parking management program and all other fees previously presented under advisement for 30 days. I encourage the public who couldn't attend today, but who will view this and want to make comment, to communicate with us via email or letter or whatever works best for you. I will, again, take these under advisement for 30 days, and then at the end of that 30-day period, I will either approve as proposed, I will reduce, or I will take no action, and therefore the current fee will remain in place. I want to thank you all for your presentations, and I want to thank those from the public who participated for your time today. Again, I'm Mark Ellis, Town Manager. Thank you.